All right, guys, I've finally done it and found the Gibson for me. Like the ultimate Gibson that I want. And it's taken me 3.5 or 3 years of buying different Gibsons. You know, I've had quite a few. I've played a lot. I've gone down the vintage route. I've gone down loads of Les Pauls. I've got this glorious SG over there, which I still really like. But I have found the Gibson that's for me. I found the sound that is what I always aimed for with this type of guitar. And to say I'm feeling a bit excited is underselling it. If the camera's shaking, it's because, you know, it's that one. So what is this guitar exactly? So this is an unusual run of Gibsons, and if I show you the serial number, you'll see why. So it says Max something 025. Basically, there's a guitar store in Holland, I think, if not Germany, called Max Guitars. You might have seen it on YouTube. Sasha Ivantich used to do a lot of their demoing. Anyway, they did a run of these particular guitars with the custom shop at Gibson, and they were called, I think, 59 reissues. It's a mahogany body, as you can see, as opposed to Carina. Now, I recently got that Epiphone Carina Explorer, and I liked it enough that I knew that at least these different body shapes interest me. And I'd often seen the Flying Vs, you know, over the last few years, and thought that is a guitar one day I'd love to have one of those. I could just tell by the way people stand with them, you know, back in the sort of 60s, that there's something, you wring something out of this guitar. It just looking at it made me feel right. I've spent ages looking for these. I tried one when I went to Peach Guitars. If you've been on the channel long, you know that I did this crazy shopping trip to Peach. I won't ruin it. It was quite a fun thing, a 3-part series, shopping at Peach, and walked away with more than I expected, basically. And I'd actually gone to try one of those Gibson custom shop Flying Vs that are like $9,000, and instantly hadn't liked it. The way it felt, the way the lacquer was too thick, the way it played. Anyway, it wasn't for me. So I went to Peach last week to collect this Joey Landreth 2 Rock, which will be a video about that coming up very soon. Actually, I'm recording that today. And well, I took along a Gibson R9 Les Paul that I bought from Peach 6 months ago, and it was a really nice guitar. I just never quite fully got on with it. You know, it wasn't much. It certainly wasn't I've got 2 other Les Pauls basically that work better for me. So I took that, struck a deal with John, and walked away with this. They were a similar price. So I'm just honestly in love with this thing, as you might hear. There was one issue, I often find with Gibson stuff, is it's just luck of the draw as to whether you get a set of pickups in there that you really, really get on with. I changed the pickups in here myself the other day. I was going to make a whole video about that, but it was all quite annoying because you have to take the whole pick guard off and you have to undo the bridge, and I had to do it about 5 times because something was shorting out in there. But I needed to take those custom buckers out because they were just not right for this guitar. They were both reading 8k ohms, and that meant, as it is, these ones are reasonably high up, but the 8k ohm bridge pickup was pretty much, if you went near there, the string touched it easily, and the neck pickup was sunk down into there quite far, and that's because the neck pickup was so boomy and strong. And to level them out, you had to really raise that up. There should be a difference between the two. Often with pickups I get from like Sunbear, it might be like 7.6 or 7 in the bridge and 6.9 or 7 in the neck, and that way neither of them overpowers the other. So last week I sold my Marcus King ES345, and that was a beautiful guitar. Again, I hadn't found this sound, which is what I found here with that guitar. So I thought, it's time for me to move that on. And that had these exact 57 PAF, copies, or not copies, but the Sunbear 57 PAFs that Stuart makes. I took those out and put the original custom buckers back in for the person who bought that guitar, because that's what they wanted. And that's fine. They were quite a different set from each other. These have a very classic tone. And with this sort of guitar, I've always been trying to find something where I can do my own, Peter Green, or whatever you want to call it. The sort of British blues, late 60s sound that I just love. The Savoy Browns and the Peter Greens of this world and the Jimmy Pages and everything. I just wanted to find it. I wanted to find the guitar that did it for me, and this does it. When I bend a note, there's a natural sustain there doesn't feel like it's feedback through the amp, doesn't feel like it's the pickups just sort of like making it happen. It feels like you hear the guitar, there's woodiness, and then there's chewiness. And all of that comes together to make a guitar that I've been doing this for 3.5 years now. And over the time I've bought a lot of gear, and I've started to, you find it harder to get excited. And yet I've literally got goosebumps. This is a week after I've got this guitar, and every time I pick it up, I'm incredibly excited. So you might be wondering why you keep hearing the same sort of blues progression mostly in the video when I'm wearing this green cardigan. It's just the sort of music that this sound and this feeling of guitar sort of evokes for me is that British type blues thing, and that's this like chewy, quite overdrivey, reasonably dry sound with a big feeling of space. You know, like some of these things were not recorded in like isolation sort of situations, so you do hear like live music and everything has quite a bigger sound. Interestingly, the Joey Landreth amp is quite good for that. It doesn't have that very springy reverb like a Fender amp when the Fender amp is sort of set lower. It's got more of a, almost like a plate thing. I mean, it's quite big. I've had to set the reverb really low. I used that amp today instead of something, you know, more bluesy, just to see what would happen, you know, as part of me recording the other video I'm doing at the moment. And this amp brings out the best of every guitar, and maybe the worst too, like that I've tried in it. It's very open and transparent and revealing, but not intimidating. It has quite a nice spongy feel to it. So yeah, we're going to talk about that more. But yeah, this Flying V came about as a sort of surprise for me, in the sense that I wasn't actually going to buy a guitar that day. Yeah, I'd seen it on Peach's website, so I stuck the R9 in the car in case there was something to be done. But this is one of those examples of buying a guitar that's right for you, that just comes across your path instead of forcing it, you know, which I've done a lot of times as well and made mistakes. So yeah, when you come across it and it just happens to be right, it's a really special feeling because it feels like it feels like it's supposed to be, you know, whatever that means. But yeah, the neck is right for me. It's not as big as my Les Paul's necks, less shoulder. There's just, oh, I can't tell you. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to find a guitar that just absolutely fits what you're looking for. It doesn't matter what style it is. Like for this guitar, this is a particular style I have in my mind. It's these 57 Sunbear PAFs that just absolutely spot on hit this rich, warm thing, but with top end bite when you need it. Whereas the custom buckers that were in there were too heavy and muddy in the neck pickup and too bitey in the bridge, and it was hard to get a balance. Now, one thing I want to try, I'll show you. So if you haven't noticed before, you know, these Flying Vs have got 3 knobs. There's a volume for the neck, volume for the bridge, and then a master's tone, which is not ideal, really. I'd rather 4 knobs. So I'm considering that the neck pickup probably just doesn't need to be connected to the tone. So I want to work out or ask someone else how to do the wiring so that this controls the bridge, because the bridge is still pretty bitey, and when I flick from the neck to the bridge, I've had the tone most of the way up for the neck pickup, and I want the bridge tone to be on like 3, and it's just too much mucking about, so it ends up not, you know, being as feasible. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and let you know how that goes. I think this guitar will also be a fun candidate for trying other styles of pickup for other manufacturers of pickup. You know that I mentioned Sunbear pickups a lot. Stuart's a great friend of mine, and he makes some of the best pickups that I've come across. To be honest with you, he probably makes the best pickups I've come across. But I'm willing to try others out of the sake of sort of objectivity. A lot of people have been asking me about Sunbear pickups. And yes, I have tried Lollas, I've tried Ox 4, I've tried Throwback, and enjoyed them all in their own ways. And it doesn't mean to say that they wouldn't be good in here. So it could be cool to just try some out. And then, you know, if I go back to the Sunbears, that I really, really mean it when I say that they're the right ones for me and that I highly recommend them. Having been to Stuart's quite a few times now and seen how he works, he's following a particular accuracy that he knows about to a T. I mean, he for what he charges, he spends so long on each pickup. Unbelievable. So you get a lot out of them, and they're still good value. I don't know why he does that, but thank you, Stuart. Yeah, this guitar, the whole package just works for me. I love how much effort they put in. I'm going to show you some of the relicing work. Yes, this is like a 2019 guitar, I think. The relicing is not Murphy Lab, and it may well be a lot more sort of razor aging. So I'm quite happy that that's on a clear coat guitar as opposed to a coloured guitar, because you don't really see it. But some of the other work I actually think is really cool. Overall, the vibe is just, yeah, it's really what I was looking for. So yeah, really by happy accident, this guitar happened to be there. You know, it wasn't originally sold at Peach or even in the UK. Someone part exchanged it, and I was there with something that I could part with for it. It's a reminder to me, and probably some of you as well, just to keep a little, if you can possibly do it, keep a little fund for the happenstance guitar that comes across that you're not expecting. You might sit in a shop, play something, and absolutely go, wow, this is what I've been looking for. And you don't have the money because you'd bought something online the last month or last year that you didn't gel with, you didn't send it back. I mean, I'm telling you my story. Yeah, but you know, I know it happens to all of us. So there we go. This is 100% at the moment my main humbucker guitar for blues, and that old blue style that I love. I love the vibe of it, the way it's incredibly light. It's so light. I mean, it just weighs nothing. And it's more comfortable than a Les Paul for me. And also, I love the fact that it's made me stand up. I've been standing up now for about 5 days since I did that with this guitar to play lots of other guitars. You'll see it in future videos. And it changes the way I play. I've got more energy about it, more sort of active feeling. It's a lot more, it's a lot cooler. It looks a lot, feels a lot cooler. Plus I get to buy guitar straps now. I mean, I don't really buy pedals as much anymore. In fact, I sold 20 this week. So being able to just buy the odd strap, you know, can cure some gas. And there's some really nice leather ones. This one is from Peach. It's a leather one. A company called Soldier, S-O-U-L-D-I-E-R. Enjoyed that. Very nice strap. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. You're going to see this guitar a lot on the channel. As I said, I'm going to do some upgrades or mods to it and try different pickups over time. But there's some other new stuff I need to get in the next few weeks. So you're going to see the Joey Landreth amp. You're going to see my Giordano Black Beauty. I've got some other amps. There's this, you'll have seen in the last few videos, or if you've been on my Instagram, this Epiphone Valve Junior is very cool. It was only 250 quid. There's a couple of them on the market at the moment. And I found that by watching Barry Cadogan playing 1959 Les Paul and a 1960 or something ES330 on YouTube. And I just always wanted to know what that sound was. And that was that amp. And it's just a 5-watt amp that one knob, no tone, just volume. It cooks and it sounds wicked. So we'll do a little video on that. Yeah, I hope there's a lot more fun things to come. But anyway, shall see you soon. Thanks for watching.